Okay. If I could have some quiet, we'll resume the meeting. Thank you. Now we have 33 green cards. They will each get 3 minutes. I will announce a name and then announce the second name who's on deck, and you'll have to move faster this time.
Madam Chairman?
Yes.
I just want to affirm you. I have our policy with us. It does say that we require a name and address under scheduled citizens request. I would just offer a thought, since we know he lives in Clay Hill, that maybe for the price of a sunshine lawsuit. I'm not sure if this is lined up with Florida statute or not is my issue at this point. So if it's not, I wouldn't want to open this up to further litigation. Maybe we need to go through our policy.
Well, the wording is in school board policy. I have checked it.
I'm just wondering if it's in Florida law, if we have an illegal policy. We've already taken an emergency action on a statute that Mr. Farrell said himself wasn't applicable.
Florida law
to dig a longer hole.
Thank you, Mr. Van Zant. Mr. Bittner, would you address this?
There are 2 cases on Florida law that have to do with whether or not someone has a right to speak at a meeting, a public meeting. Both of them say there is no right whatsoever to speak at a public meeting. One is from the First District Court of Appeal. It's a 2010 case from 2 years ago. The other is the Marston case, which was from Florida Supreme Court, which was from 1979, I think. Now, what we have done with our school board policy is we have created a privilege to speak at school board meetings. And in doing that, we can create the parameters by which we allow those speakers, so long as we do not discriminate based upon the message. We cannot distinguish whether somebody wants to come in and say ugly things or good things.
Right.
But as far as requiring someone to give their name and address, I think we have the right, and Mr. Wortham has the ability, or has a requirement, that he maintain records of those actions that take place at a meeting, and who speaks at a meeting, and their name and address is included in those actions. So in my opinion, and I have checked with as many school boards as I can find around the state, and all of them have the same requirement, that you come in and write down on the green card, or whatever card they have, your name and address. That doesn't mean it has to be read to the public. It simply means that we have a record of who speaks at the meetings and where they're from. And because it's our policy that created the ability to do that, not the Sunshine Law, then we can do that. What Mr. Finning is referring to are cases that say we cannot require people to show identification to come into the meeting, because that has a chilling effect on the intent of the Sunshine Law, which is an open meeting to the public.
Yeah, I don't argue any of that. We've just taken 3 or 4 minutes to not let him speak. We could have just been done with it by now. That's all I'm saying. Avoid another lawsuit. But you're the chairman. Whatever you want.
Madam Chair, just again for clarification in what could be a very confusing situation. I emailed the board and said, as requested, I'm attaching my notes from which I commented and moved the reference motions. That was the emergency meeting and the injunction. The essence of the argument, read the emergency, is stated on page 1, which I've already read to you. Student safety and the orderly conduct of the school's educational program. The incidental citing of 810.975, not central to the motion, is irrelevant, as the language has been found, paragraph 2A and B, to be vague in definition and enforcement, and therefore unconstitutional. Gray versus Cole. Now, I'm perfectly willing, being not an attorney, that I should not have even mentioned that particular state statute. However, it was not central to my petition. For the woman that I spoke with earlier, who was upset that that citing was unconstitutional, Mr. Bickner's earlier reference was to 810.097, which is the preceding paragraph, which has to do with trespass. And again, this is the great, great risk of we unwashed ordinary mortals attempting to play lawyer. That all by way of clarification.
Okay. Getting back to Mr. Finning, if Mr. Finning wanted to write down his address, I would welcome him to come to the podium, but he chose not to. So I'm going to abide by school board policy.
Did we have him do it last time?
No, and last time he pointed it out to us, we let him go ahead and speak. After the meeting, I went and read the school board policy that addresses this. I checked with Mrs. Cheeseman because with him being a scheduled speaker, he had emailed a request to be on the agenda. I asked her to please go back and check to see if he had put his address in his request. The school board policy says it can be written. It doesn't have to be given orally. So until we change our school board policy, I'm going to abide by school board policy.
So he didn't put it in the email?
He did not put it in the email. Okay, let's start with the 33 green cards. Sandra Goldman.